Welcome to the final broadcast of the live talks directly from EuroPerio in Amsterdam. We will interview guests and give you the latest updates right from the Congress. During each live talks, you can send in questions via our chat function. Our experts are standing by, ready to answer. My name is Mia Jensen, and I'm your host for live talks, together with our roaming reporter, Dirk. The theme for today, we will focus on how implant dentistry can enhance the patient's quality of life. And I have two guests with me here, Dr. Véronique Christiaens and Dr. Stijn Vervaeke. They are both assistant professors at the Department of Periodontology and Oral Implantology at the University in Ghent in Belgium. Welcome, Véronique and Stijn.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mia.
Very nice to have you here in live talks.
It's our pleasure.
I would like to start with asking you a question, Stijn. You recently had a publication accepted on OsseoSpeed implants, 10-year follow-up of immediately loaded. Could you please tell us about the data and the results?
Yes, well, that was a publication by Simon Windahl. He's the first author of that for his PhD thesis. And it's mainly a continuation of a previous paper that published 2-year results with very promising, at least short-term results. And now we're very pleased to see that even after 10 years of function, the bone remains completely stable around the implants, providing long-term success and long-term stability. And as you said before, it's all about satisfaction, patient satisfaction. So long-term bone stability is something of key importance to allow our patients to be happy at the time of implant placement, but also remain satisfied for the rest of their years, hopefully.
Mm-hmm. And according to you, why is it important to document and verify different treatments, both within within dentistry in general, but also especially within implant dentistry?
Well, I think that we can't make mistakes, but we can't make them twice. And I think if someone else made that mistake before, we have to learn about it. So that is why it's important to share our knowledge with the whole community, and that is for the best of our patients, of course.
I agree. Mm-hmm. I think you do too.
Yeah,
also,
I can totally agree with that.
Yeah. And Véronique, you recently defended your thesis, and I know that you are involved in a lot of different studies. So how do you establish yourself as a young researcher?
Yeah, it was great to start at such a young age as a researcher in a great team at Ghent University with a lot of support, as also from Stijn in the beginning, and now we are publishing together. So step by step you start in the research and you grow in it. And I also got a great opportunity to work in the P3 program from Dentsply, which I really enjoyed. It's a 1-year, quite intensive training, but it's to help young researchers in their way to the stage and presenting, give them practical tips. And what I enjoyed the most about the program is it's for a whole year, but only the last few days we were talking about implants. All the other time we were like developing ourselves and have great discussions and network and all those things. It's wonderful.
So sounds very interesting.
It is.
I know you have published some very interesting data talking about your research on patient satisfaction. Could you please tell us a little bit the key findings from your research?
Yeah, I think that's something that goes together with our presentation from today. You always have to look what kind of patient do I have in front of me. What are the needs? Is it an aesthetic question? Is it rather a functional question? And then you start from the patient, him or herself, and you develop a treatment plan that will fit that patient, which gives the satisfaction at the end. So sometimes we prefer to go for the 6 implants, but then in another case you can say like, okay, 4 implants will work for this patient. And that's also what you see in studies. Like, if the patient is happy at the end, then they will forget the surgery they had and the treatment time it cost before. Like once they benefit from it, after even if it was a long procedure, they will be happy because they feel feel good and they are positive about the whole treatment then. But during the treatment, sometimes even if you say like I have to place my implants, let it heal, and then we can only load after 3 months or after 6 in case of a grafting. When you come at the end, the patient is happy that they have the fixed solution again. So satisfaction is treatment dependent, and if you have a treatment that fits your patient, you will have a patient with a high satisfaction, that's sure.
Sounds very good and very interesting to really adapt the treatment to the patient.
I think that's very important.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also something we try to give as a key message at the university to our trainees, like look at your patient and look what the needs are from your patients.
It's really the patient that is the center, and we are all dealing with that one thing to make the life of the patient better. That's what it's all about.
Sounds very good. Talking about studies, let's listen to Anna-Karin Lundgren, who's the Director of Global Clinical Affairs, and on what she has to say about science and about the Global Clinical Research Program within Dentsply Sirona implants.
Hello and welcome back again here to the 9th EuroPerio in Amsterdam. We are at the Dentsply Sirona booth, and my next guest is Anna-Karin Lundgren. Anna-Karin, you are so dedicated to science. How come?
Well, in addition as how I am as a person, I'm curious, I'm structured, and I want to know things. It's of course having this position for the benefit of the patient. I mean, the patient deserves the best of treatments, the standard of care, and to know that we're providing them with the best possible treatment, we need to find out in a structured and scientific way how is the outcome of the treatment.
So it's not eminence-based anymore, but evidence-based.
Evidence-based, I like that, yeah.
Thank you. And how do you think does science make the difference?
Well, we are a company who is dedicated to innovation. And if you have the products you have today, and you know how they work, and if we develop them and further improve them, we need to know whether it's a true improvement. And then you need to test it and compare to the old things or the current things, and then to know that we provide the patient with an even better solution.
I see. And why is it so important to have so many studies and publications on certain topics?
Well, I mean, the number as such is not that important. What is important is to document all the different indication areas, to document different treatment protocols, to have long-term studies, and to document this by different research groups so that we can confirm the results done by one group. And that, of course, results in a lot of different studies and a lot of different publications. So it's more to document the whole indication area rather than to have a certain number of publications.
And does it make a big difference whether it's investigator initiated or company initiated?
No, it does not. I mean, for the company initiated studies, we're of course designing them to solve the problem or answer the question that we as a company might have. For the investigator-initiated study, the initiative comes from the clinician, and it's supposed to respond to their question they might have. But not to say that our questions are more important than the clinician's questions, definitely not.
Okay. And I'm also quite curious about your global clinical program. What can you tell me about that?
Well, we have a huge clinical study program in a lot of different universities all over the world. And we currently have some 15 to 20 studies ongoing that we call company initiated, that we are running. And for the investigator initiated studies, we have some 170 plus studies ongoing. So we're really interacting with a lot of different clinicians from a lot of different university and private clinics.
And why is that clinical data from those studies so important?
Well, again, to prove the efficacy and the results of our products and solutions, to be sure that we are providing the patient with the best possible treatment.
Anna-Karin, how is the Dentsply Sirona situation different from the competition when you're looking at science?
Well, there are so many companies out there selling dental implants on the market. that don't have any clinical documentation at all. More than 90% does not have any clinical documentation. And for me, being a dentist, having the patient in mind, that's completely unacceptable.
Thank you very much, Anna-Karin. And now we are handing back to Mia.
So, Véronique, you and Stijn, you both presented at the Inspiration Talks today. And can I start with you, Véronique? What did you present on, and why was this important?
Okay, so actually we had a duo presentation.
Yeah.
So it's one big topic
Yeah.
where we started to highlight the SmartFix concept, where you actually are going for 2 straight implants in the front and then 2 angulated implants in the posterior that you correct with the multi-base abutment. So why do you go for that treatment? You will choose that treatment in cases where you say like there is not enough bone in the posterior region to place a regular straight implant. You have to avoid the sinus if you don't want to go for the augmentation.
Yes.
And there are also some patients where you say like, I rather don't prefer to go for that sinus lift, but I still want to give them a fixed solution. So for that, SmartFix comes in the picture. And then the second part of our lecture was about research, because we want to work evidence-based, and the biggest part was done by Stijn there.
Well, it gives us another option for our patients, the option with the 4 implants. And we're looking for cost-effective treatment options for our patients, less invasive, resulting in a higher patient satisfaction, of course. There's only one weak link, I guess, in that treatment concept, and that's you're working on only 4 implants. So you need a good start, and for that there are some biological principles that have to be administered from the start. In order to assure a good start without any bone loss around the implants, and then we are quite sure that those implants can have a good bone maintenance, a good stability on the long run, assuring long-term stability and long-term comfort for our patients.
Yeah, and here at Dentsply Sirona Implants during EuroPerio, we have been offering hands-on sessions on SmartFix, and I would just like to ask my colleague Dirk to share a little bit with us about what happened there.
We are in the Dentsply Sirona classroom, and I'm here with Stuart Conway, and he will tell us a little bit about the course on SmartFix that he's doing today.
Okay.
Stuart.
Hi, thanks,
Thank
Dirk.
you for being here.
Pleasure.
Please let me know, what are you planning in this course?
Well, as you know, Dirk, the number of edentulous patients around the world is growing every year. And the SmartFix solution, which we're going to be talking about in the workshops today, allows our customers to be able to treat their patients in one day. So the patient can come in the morning, have the implants placed, and then leave with a prosthesis at the end of the day and start using and eating and chewing again, bringing them back into a situation where they can enjoy life again.
Oh, that's excellent. And what is the major feature of this concept?
The major feature, Dirk, if I can use the model to help us, the major feature is the SmartFix abutment, which allows the surgeons to be able to adjust the angulation of the abutment within the occlusal table. So it really makes the treatment very, very fast, very efficient, and very simple for the clinician. When we're placing the SmartFix abutment, we need to remove the carrier at this point. So we tighten down the abutment screw using the hex screwdriver, and then we take off the handle, and then we screw in the head of the SmartFix abutment, take that off, and the abutment's in place.
Stuart, what are you planning with the participants here in the workshop? What can they expect and what can they experience?
Okay, well, Dirk, hopefully we're going to be able to demonstrate to them the ease of use of the SmartFix components. We'll also spend around about 15 minutes with an opportunity for them to have a hands-on session with the components, so that they get to understand the feel and how the components work together.
So now we heard a little bit more details about the SmartFix solution. And so what are your personal experiences working with SmartFix?
Shall I go first? So the first time I tried SmartFix also in a demo. So I went to a training, and that's something I would suggest to everyone. Take the time, play with it, and then it goes very easily in the mouth. If you open your box for the first time and you have to do it immediately in the mouth, you have to think a bit more. Where now, if you know it before and you were looking at how everything works and using the holder and know that you can wobble it a bit to remove, and you know all those things before you go into surgery, you don't have all that much stress during your surgery. So my biggest tip is take the time to place it once on a model, and then it will go well in the mouth. And then the second thing is, if you say, I want to go for SmartFix, but I never worked with Profile before, then I first would go for straight implants, something you know, and combine it then with the multi-base abutments. And then the second case, you can say like, okay, now we're going to go for the profiles in the back with the SmartFix abutment. So I would go step by step. There is a certain learning curve, and there is nothing wrong with that, but all the tools are there to train yourself. So
sounds like a wise advice. And Stijn, do you have any comments?
Well, I really like the different components that are available. You can choose for the straight implants, but also for the scalloped implant, for the profile implant. And of course, the profile implant sounds to be or seems to be the ideal implant to place in the posterior area then, because you're angulating that implant. And then, of course, you don't end up with the distal aspect of that implant too deep into the bone. So it fits perfectly in that philosophy. Also, the multi-base abutments, they are available both indexed and non-indexed. And we all know that working with non-indexed abutments, that's not so easy. And you have to assure then the long-term possibility to keep that position of that implant. If it gets loose one time, you might end up with a problem. So you need a proper key when you work with non-indexed abutments. So in my opinion, the indexed abutments are a really big improvement and make the life of the surgeon and the prosthetic dentist way more easy.
I think I can totally agree with that. Yeah.
Sounds good. And let's hear from a patient then, the patient perspective on being satisfied with the treatment.
Ich hatte keine Schmerzen, ich hatte kein blutunterlaufenes Gesicht.
I felt no pain. I didn't suffer from any facial bruising or swelling. It all went extremely smoothly. And there's nothing to be afraid of. In all the time I have had the implant, about 9 years now, I haven't had the slightest problem with it. I'm very pleased and happy with it. And I think I look good.
So how does hearing comments like this, I'm sure that you have heard them in real life and not only from this patient, how does that make you feel? Stijn?
Well, I mean, that's where it's all about. Yeah. And that's mainly what she expresses now is, in my opinion, the goal of that treatment concept. Less invasive surgery, easy surgery for the patients, with very limited chance of having big complications afterwards. So they experience the surgery as very easy and non-invasive, and that will, then will you end up with happy patients, of course.
Yeah, especially for patients like the one that was in our presentation, who got a removable prosthesis and who couldn't adapt to that prosthesis, but only had a little bit of bone in the front, not in the posterior. It's a great solution, and that's also what we said, like after treating a patient like that, the patient is so thankful to you, and that makes your day.
Yes, it makes your day,
that
for sure.
Definitely makes your day.
Yeah. So as we heard earlier from Anna-Karin Lundgren, Dentsply Sirona Implants values science and clinical research. So let's hear from Ulrika Pettersson, Senior Manager in Global Scientific Management, on the latest published data on the Dentsply Sirona implant solutions.
Hello, we are here at the 9th EuroPerio in Amsterdam at the Dentsply Sirona booth. And my next guest for the interview is Ulrika Pettersson. Ulrika, tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
Well, I'm responsible for the science that we perform at the company. And here at EuroPerio, I will be staffed here at the science corner of the booth. And I hope to have a lot of interesting discussions regarding science with customers and internal people.
I have heard that you love science. How come?
I do love science, you've heard right. I want to feel certain and confident and not only express a lot of opinions. And for that I need data. It's like reading the end of the book first. Then you know what's going to happen and you can feel relaxed.
Okay. And here at the EuroPerio you have a press release about long-term results. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, so we have three different implant systems within the company. The Ankylos, the Astrotech implant system, and Sive. And all of them have been around for a long time, actually up to 30 years. And we have a lot of clinical experience with all these implant systems. But not only do we have clinical experience, but we have science supporting all the implant systems. Long term, 20 years for Ankylos and Astrotech implant system and 15 years for Sive. So we can show predictable, reliable, long-term data, good aesthetics.
But don't all the companies have those data?
Actually, no. I mean, today science, I would say, makes a difference between the implant companies. There are hundreds of different implant companies on the market, but only very few, like 10%, can show clinical data supporting their products. And today, 2018, our patients deserve to be treated with well-documented products.
Yes, I understand that point. Dentsply Sirona Implants is presenting a 100% implant and prosthetic survival rate at EuroPerio. Can you explain more about that new data?
So a couple of weeks ago, a 10-year study was published on the OsseoSpeed implant from Astrotech Implant Systems. And the main findings from that 10-year study was 100% survival rate of implants and prosthetics, and also very well maintained modular bone levels, actually 0.3 millimeter, which is fantastic results. We are not surprised though, but the results are truly fantastic.
You also have some news on the regenerative line. Can you tell me more about that?
So here at EuroPerio we are focusing on one of our regenerative products, the AlgaPore. It is a natural phycogenic bone graft material. Phycogenic meaning that it's plant derived. And here at EuroPerio we are celebrating 30 years on the market, and we have a lot of data to support this material, and we will present all of it here at EuroPerio.
And it comes from algae from the ocean?
It does.
Amazing.
So it's naturally occurring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you very much, Ulrika.
Thank
now
you.
we will hand over again to Mia.
So, interesting information from Ulrika Petersson. So, Véronique and Stijn, what are your comments to what was presented here?
I think it was very well stressed that you have to work evidence-based, so that you need data for the products you are using, short time and long term. So I think I can speak for both of us that we 100% agree that you need literature to make your point and to prove your quality.
Yeah, well, I agree on that, and I think for a practitioner, it's something. If you read the science behind the system, then of course you're quite sure that something will work very predictable in your hands once you went through that obvious learning curve. And I think that is something we can stress out to our patients as well, that you work with a very well documented system that has a very good chance of giving a lifelong comfort and satisfaction.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for coming, visiting here in live talks, both of you. I would also like to wish you good luck with both your clinical work and your research in the future. It sounds like you have a lot of exciting projects ongoing.
That's true.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you
for the invitation.
So with this, we close live talks for this time at EuroPerio. It has been very exciting for us to try out this new format, and I hope it has been for you too. So all sessions will be available on the Dentsply Sirona Implants Facebook page in the future as well. I would also like to mention that we wish you welcome to the International Ankylosing Congress in Berlin on June 29 and 30 next week, if you have the opportunity to attend. And we will, of course, be present at the EAO in Vienna on October 11 to 13. So thank you very much and goodbye from EuroPerio in Amsterdam.